You're declaring your own faithfulness to act. Your part. He does his, you do yours. So amen isn't just a holy period at the end of my prayer. Amen. What it is it's a covenant response. It's saying, let this be true. And I'll do my part. Hallelujah. I'll stay in faith. I'll play my part. So when we say amen to a prayer and you're talking to the Lord, you're saying, I know you did your part. I'm going to walk it out in faith and do my part and see the manifestation. Be blessed today. All right, Mark, come on up. We're ready. Youth. It's Youth Day. Go with Dee Dee. Be blessed.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, particularly the short-haired version of me now, okay, I've been a consultant in the oil and gas industry for years, and I'm a professional trainer. So I've got things usually very organized, got PowerPoints and all that and everything. My computer's acting up, their computer's acting up. We didn't get it, did we, the Proverbs? Okay, so I've got it. So I have a message. But the whole time this morning, and particularly being here in the service, I've really just had this calling that we got to address some things besides just the prepared message, okay? And I take time in the pulpit very seriously, because what it says in the Word is, what I say, if I tell you guys wrong things and you go up to the gates and say, hey, but Mark said... Okay, I'm held accountable. Okay, so I really put time in to make sure that I understand what's being said and why and how we use it, and we use it rightly. But I'm also challenging you, like the Bereans, whatever I say, okay, you have to check it against the Word. And we always take the Word, all right? They were actually called blessed for doing that, okay? So it's not like social media, just open it up and swallow whatever happens to show up on the screen. Okay, you carry a part of this too. I'll do my part, okay? But I want to do a few things off script. First of all, I want to let you guys know that everybody's heart is with you guys, okay, as you go through this. And Clarence, I didn't know your mama, but your mama she made you, okay, with God. All right, and you're here, and we're very thankful. So we're thankful for your mama, even if we didn't know her, right? Okay. So, all right, and just saying that, if you haven't said hi to your mama in a while, call her, okay? Because someday you won't be able to, okay? And my mom doesn't know how to get off the phone. So Mary Lou's even told her, please, just don't go on and on. And I'm going like, okay, Mom, I got to go. Mom, I got to go. Mom, I got to go. Okay, I'm hanging up now, Mom. Okay, but she loves to hear from me. That's why she didn't get off the phone, okay? So, while you got a chance, call your mama, okay? Number one. Number two is this beautiful baby here, this young man up front. The kids, I don't know if they're still down below that are here, okay? Man, my heart is just pouring out today that this is the future church. We think we're going through some stuff, okay? They're going to face some stuff, and they need us. It's not like they're the future church. They are the church. You're very welcome here, young man. We want you here, okay? We're going to speak to you as well as your daddy and mom and stuff, okay? All right, and all that. The little baby, man, everybody, blessings on the baby. I pray that that baby grows up to be a strong, powerful man in the Lord, and that he goes out and changes generations of people, okay, and what he does. And then, Mama, you got the strength to put up with it, because I've had strong-willed boys, and whew, let me tell you, they can be a challenge and a half, okay? But those strong-willed boys are the ones that also go out and can walk up and down Zuni and witness, okay? They can get into trouble and come out of it and still have successful lives. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with being a strong-willed child. and doing it that way. My teachers used to say, can't you sit down and be quiet? And I'd go, no, I can't. Okay, can I stand in the back at least and move or something? Okay, God uses who we are. He makes us unique. He uses us for who we are. And just take your gifts, take who you are, and make the most of it, okay? I also, so I was going to do something on grief, because I heard about Pastor's mama passing, all right? And there's other people that have had it. And grief comes in lots of forms, right? I mean, any of you that have had a good pet, when your pet passes away, it tears your heart, doesn't it? Okay? I mean, I don't care if it's a dog, a cat, a gerbil, a parakeet, whatever, Okay? Your little fur babies are important, okay? Then you've got people who live full lives and pass away, okay? And let me tell you, if they know the Lord, what a blessing for the people that are left. So we lost a son to fentanyl. That was years ago, 8 years ago now, coming up 9, 11, okay, yeah. Time flies slow when you got that on your life. But anyway, we went to a grief class, and there were people there who said, I'm really fighting with losing my grandma. And people had asked questions. Oh, she was 98 years old. Was she healthy? Yes. Well, did she have Alzheimer's? No, her mind worked right to the end. Well, did she get cancer? No, she was just healthy and went to sleep. I raised my hand and go, hey, where do I sign up for that? Okay, don't be sad. If I get that, baby, let's throw a party. Okay, and my background is Irish and Welsh, and what they do is they throw a wake. Okay, so they assume you're going to be saved and that you've gone home and you're allotted time, and so people get together and throw a party. Also, for people out of those cultures, it's an excuse to drink. So I also come from a long line of bad drunks, too. Thus, I have over 40 years of sobriety. But so let's get into what I was going to talk about. Oh, let me finish the thing. So I was going to talk about grief. But, Job is a really good book just about how to deal with grief and what you have to go through, okay? And he didn't do anything wrong. He was living a good life, and the devil went to God and said, yeah, he's doing fun, and he worships you and everything because everything's going good. Let me make it bad, and let's see if he can do it. And it got real bad for him, okay? And he still honored the Lord through all of that. But you know who didn't? His wife and his friends. When they came over at first, they just sat with him. And they didn't say anything, and he was dealing in his grief. He was working through it. But his wife spoke first and said, what did you do to make us have this? Okay, I'm paraphrasing. You have to read it for yourself. Okay? But then his friends sat quiet for a while more, and finally they said, yeah, dude, what did you do wrong? Okay, he didn't do anything wrong. Even in his grief, he did it right. So sometimes when people are grieving, when they've had a loss, it's tough. You go, I don't have the right words. The Bible says you don't need the right words. What you need is you need the right heart to be there with them and to just sit there quietly and to help them. Okay, maybe bring them some, although it's funny, when our son passed away, I've never had so many green chili chicken enchilada dishes in my life, okay? We must have eaten that for 14 days straight. But anyway, so, just be around. Don't be afraid that you don't have the right words. The right words are, I'm here for you. I'm hurting with you, okay? Come through this. It's okay. Now, Clarence has the advantage. It's still hurting, okay? But when you're saved, you know you will see that person again. Okay, and I can tell you younger people, I used to be young. I just went to my 20-year college reunion, and 50 year. Whew, yeah, it feels like 20, yeah. I went to my 50-year college reunion, and everybody said the same thing. How did we get old? As you're going through it day by day, you go, oh man, I'm not even gonna make it to next month. Okay, but in reality, you can ask any of the seniors here. You blink about 3 times and you go, I'm 50. You blink twice more and you're 70, okay? And I think I'm pretty healthy and try to do the right things. But guess what? I'm not going to live to be 120 years old. Okay, and I'm not speaking bad about myself. It's just a reality. But my family will know that when I close my eyes here, I will open them and put my hand into my Savior's. Okay? We will be there. And it says in Psalms that he sees all our tears. Okay? And that he collects them. Now, I think it's poetic justice, the way, or presentation. But it says he collects them in a bottle. And I kind of think of that thing, you know, where you guys have all heard it about walking on the sand by the beach, and the person says, well, how come there was only one set of footprints? And Jesus says, because I was carrying you. I think sometimes we get up there and we'll say, where were you? And he'll hold up the jar of your tears and say, I was there the whole time. I sent angels for you. I prepared things for you. Now, that's metaphorically. I don't think he's going to be standing there with a bunch of jars. But the point is, he's there. He's with us when it's bad. Okay? When times are bad, that's when you're on your knees praying, oh, God, please come. Please be with me. Please make things better. Okay? When things are good, you're out kind of doing your thing. Oh, I probably ought to go to church, but it's a nice day. Do you know the number one reason for people not going to church? Bad weather. You know the number two reason? Good weather. Okay? All right? Well, you know, it's not too hot, it's not too cold today. Maybe we should go to the lake. Hey, how about if we do this? That? We'll catch church another day. We'll watch it midweek, okay? Which most people don't, right? So we just, my point in all that is that, you know, be saved, okay, for yourself, okay? Do it for your family, too, that they know where you went, okay? Because there is a story in the Word about a rich man that goes where? Down, okay? And he's in torment. And he looks up and he sees the person in heaven and says, please let him put his hand, just the tip of his finger in water and put it on my tongue. Okay? Those two people are named. If it was a metaphor, they would not be named. The reason they are named is the word is saying this is real. Okay? So let your family know you went that way, not that way. And when you talk to pastors, they will tell you sometimes that when they talk to a family and say they don't know the person just needs a room, say, hey, can we do a funeral here? Can you do it? And a lot of pastors will do it just, yeah, it's an income stream, right? We'll rent you the building, we'll do that. A lot of other ministers use it as a missionary field, all right? But, so they'll be with the family and say, so did he love his family? No, not really. He had like 5 kids through 3 different women and never paid child support. You know, did they ever come around? Did they make up before he passed away? Nah, he was a pretty mean guy. Well, did he take care of his parents? No, I didn't do that. Well, did the people in the neighborhood like him? Oh, no, pretty much everybody hated him or was scared of him. Okay? But then you're supposed to get up as pastor, and what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Okay, God holds you accountable for what you say up here. Okay, so you can preach about salvation without touching too much there. What a total difference when you celebrate somebody's life and say, man, this person had 50 years working for the Lord and touched so many people, and the place is packed by the families of multiple generations that have come. Okay, and I'm not talking about somebody that's just a pastor. I'm talking about people that just went out and helped their neighbors and helped people on the street, that you can't believe how it's packed. Okay, and when we go to heaven, okay, how cool is it going to be when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I want to thank you. And you go, well, why? Well, you talked to my mom when she was down at the 7-Eleven, was all strung out, and because of what you said to her and being nice to her, she did not commit suicide. She had the drugs, and she didn't commit suicide. And we went on, and I'm the 3rd generation, and unfortunately, I'm here a little early, okay? But it was because what you did. So what you say to one person walking down the street, just being nice, when you buy a sandwich, anything can have multiple generations of impact. And we think, how about, I'm a grandfather or a great-grandfather. I'm talking 12, 14, 20 generations up. Do you realize somebody 20 generations ago was in your family? You probably don't know them, you can't name them, but somebody did something to get you here. Because if they totally bombed out, you wouldn't be here, okay? So we've got to be active in what we do. So communion is going to be fun because we're going to look at what Jesus did there. But I'm going to go just super quick to what I had originally had here. And because we don't have it up, I'm just going to read some of it. So I was going to share that if you ever wonder what to read in the Word, okay, there are 31 Proverbs, and there are 31 days in any month, right? Okay, sometimes less, but okay, never more than 31. So if you ever go, I need some, rather than just throwing it open and sticking your finger in the Bible, okay, where it may or may not make sense, because you know there is a verse that says, God will enfold us in his wings. Okay, if you take that out of context, does that mean Jesus or God is a big chicken? It doesn't. Okay, so you got to have some context when you're reading, all right? So when you go to Proverbs, it's short. I will tell you that it's written by men for men, okay? But it's the best knowledge they could get. I tell my wife and other women, you should read it so you know how to manipulate us better, okay? So it's the third Proverbs. Today's the third. It has great things. So I'm reading from the Message version. That's what I've been using. In case you don't know it, there are hundreds of versions of the Bible out there. There's one called the Y'all Bible that is like it sounds, kind of middle of the country, type of thing. There's a Surfer's Bible. There is the Ghetto Bible. Okay, there you can find all kinds of versions of the Bible, and I read different ones. I even read the New Testament in Spanish to try to keep my Spanish up, and it makes me have to think about what the words are saying rather than just read them and buzz past them. So find a version. There's free apps that you can do, and you can change the versions. This is from the Message. Don't assume you know it all. That's enough right there. We could drop the mic. Okay? Boom. Okay? Don't assume you know it all. Good friends, don't forget what I've taught you. Take to heart my commands. They'll help you live a long, long time, a long life, full and well. Don't lose your grip on love and loyalty. Tie them around your neck. Carve your initials in your heart. Earn a reputation of well living in God's eyes and in the eyes of people. Trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. He's the one who will keep you on track. Don't assume that you know it all. Run to God. Run from evil. Your body will glow with health. Even your bones will be vital with life. Honor God with everything you own. Give him the first and the best. Your barns will burst. Your wine will brim over. And don't, dear friends, resent God's discipline. Don't sulk under his loving correction. It's the child he loves that God corrects. A father delights in behind all this. So a couple different things just in that section. And there's 3 little sections. Okay? Put God first. Okay? So if you're reading Proverbs, what I find, and I'm going to be transparent, if I read this in the morning when I get up, and by the way, on your app, all you got to do is push the button and it will read it to you. You can even pick the voice. So you can have an Australian woman's voice or a men's deep voice or whatever. So you find a voice you like, boom, you hit it, and you can listen to it even as you're waking up, and your mind is grabbing on good things right from the very beginning. What I find is if I go through a day, at the end of the day, I go, man, I need the word, let me hit it. And I hit it and I go, I needed that this morning before I went through all this turmoil. Okay? So fuel up your car before you drive it, not after it runs out of gas. Okay? So it talks about, staying God's, trust Trust him from the bottom of your heart. Do you trust God even when things seem like they're going bad? Okay, sometimes I think he has to force us to our knees so that we'll listen to him, because otherwise we're listening to too many other things. Okay, the average child now spends over 2 hours of FaceTime on a screen. Okay, are they spending even 5 minutes with you in the Bible? 5 minutes. Come on, can you tell them a Bible story? Okay, can you show them something? Okay, they're doing 2 hours. And hey, we're as guilty as anybody, right? The grandkids get wild, we go, here's the tablet. Okay, but there's things on the tablet, you can get Christian tablet stuff too. Okay, so do it that way. God will keep you on track. Run to God and from evil. So we all know the story in the little cartoon, right, of the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other one, whispering to you. Okay, that's pretty real when you're going through life. How many times has the angel said, don't do that, and you go, no, I got this. No, don't do that. And the other one's going, yeah, come on, baby, it's going to be fun. Hey, because the devil always promises more than he ever delivers. Ever. Drugs always say, come on, it's fun. Yeah, talk to people that have been addicted for 20 to 40 years. Okay, they've lost everything they got, okay? But you hear that little voice, and it says in the word that it's a still small voice that speaks to you. And so I pray to God, I go, God, I'm not good hearing that still small voice. I want to hear it. I give you permission, yell in my ear. If you need to grab me by the back of my neck and throw me somewhere, go do it. When I'm at a door that I'm supposed to go through and I'm kind of like peeking in, going, oh, I don't know, come up behind me and kick me and make me go through. Okay? On the other hand, if it's someplace I'm not supposed to go, no matter what I try, no matter what my scheme, no matter what I do, don't let that door open. Okay? And sometimes when we go, why isn't God here? God is there. He's the one locking the door. He's the one saying, that's not the apartment for you. That's not the man for you. That's not the job for you. He says, I got something better for you, but you got to go find it. I will lead your feet, but you got to do that. So sometimes when we encounter trouble, okay, that's God protecting us, okay? And it's hard, isn't it, to say, thank you, God, for closing that door. Whew. That means you got to pay the rent some other way with me here, okay? And you go through it, okay. Your body will glow, you'll be healthy, okay. Where are we? And at the end, okay, don't, dear friends, resent God's discipline. So I do counseling with some guys that are in drug and alcohol rehab, quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. And you hear stories like people saying, I resented my parents all the way growing up because all my friends, they got cars, they could go out, they had money, they partied every weekend, they went up to the lake, you know, blah, blah, blah. And my parents made me get a job and I had to work. I had to pay some bills. I was responsible for things. Why did that happen? And you know, I told this one guy, because your parents loved you and theirs didn't. And I said, where are they now? Oh, they're all a mess. You know, they got kids everywhere. They'd lost jobs. They filed bankruptcy and everything. And what do? Well, I bust my butt, but I got a job and I got a house and I got a wife, okay? And I can tell you there's a lot of pride in having a driveway, okay? You know what? I tell guys, they go, what should my goal be? I said, get a driveway. They kind of look at you and go, what are you talking about? But where does a driveway lead? Your driveway leads to your house where you have your car and your family and your dog and everything. Get a driveway, okay? And that's simple enough for people to say, I get that. I get that. In tough times, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I still at this lousy job? Because it's a step towards you getting your driveway. And then if you're lucky enough, that will be leveraged on and you'll be able to help your kids get their driveways, okay? But don't ruin them by giving it to them for free, okay? All right, now, we'll go to the next section really quick. The very tree of life. You're blessed when you meet Lady Wisdom. When you make friends with Madam Insight, she's worth far more than money in the bank. Her friendship is better than any big salary. Her value exceeds all of the trappings of wealth. Nothing you could wish for holds a candle to her. With one hand, she gives long life. With the other, she confers recognition. Her manner is beautiful. Her life wonderfully complete. She's the very tree of life to which, to those who embrace her. Hold her tight and be blessed. With Lady Wisdom, God formed earth, and Madam Insight, he raised heavens. They knew when to signal rivers and springs to the surface and dew to descend from the night skies. So, a couple of different things here. First of all, so wisdom and insight are females. Okay? Take note of that, guys. Okay? The word almost always refers to wisdom and insight in the female gender. Okay? So, why do you think they fight wars with young men? Because they go, here, take this BB gun and run over the hill and shoot those guys. And they go, okay, yeah, ooh, hoorah. And they run over. The women are going, are you out of your mind? Okay? So, when you want to do something, my wife has veto power when I do stuff. And the couple of times that I've overridden her veto power, it's not worked. Okay? So listen to your wife, even when you don't want to, okay? You need to. So it's very wisdom because it goes through here. The other thing I found interesting, and it's just a thing, it says, Madam Insight helped raise the heavens and to signal the rivers and the springs when to surface. So that means the wisdom and insight was around with God in the creation of the worlds. Wow. Wow. Okay, very interesting. Okay, then the last part, never walk away. Dear friends, guard clear thinking and common sense with your life. Don't for a minute lose insight of them. They'll keep your soul alive and well. They'll keep you fit and attractive. You'll travel safely and you'll never tire or trip. You'll take afternoon naps without a worry. Oops, let me move this way. You'll enjoy a good night's sleep. No need to panic ever when with alarm or surprises or predictions of doomsday just around the corner, because God will be right there with you. He'll keep you safe and sound. Never walk away from someone who deserves help. Your hand is God's hand for that person. Don't tell your neighbor, maybe some other time, or try me tomorrow, when the money is right in your pocket. Don't figure ways of taking advantage of your neighbor when he's sitting there trusting and unsuspecting. Don't walk around with a chip on your shoulder, always looking for a fight. Don't try to like those who shoulder their way through life, meaning, like pushing. Don't be a bully. Why not? Because God can't stand twisted souls. It's straightforward. Who gets his respect? God curses, blights, and houses of the wicked, but he blesses the house of the righteous. He gives proud skeptics a cold shoulder, but if you're down on your luck, he's right there to help. Wise living will get rewards and honors. Foolish living earns no prize. Okay, a couple things in there, right? Okay, we are the hand of God. Okay? Now, when it talks about giving money, okay, it doesn't mean give your rent money to somebody. Okay, it means, but if you have some money, and more importantly, it's easy to give money. Anyone can write a little check. Yeah, here's a check here, dude. You can even cancel the check so it doesn't go through. Okay? That isn't anything. But you know what? To help somebody move, I talked to somebody when I was back at my reunion, and he said, I remember when you helped me move 50 years ago. Wow. You go, wow. There was another guy that said, you were the only jock that was ever nice to me. And I'm like going, really? For 50 years you carried that? I was just being me, okay? In 50 years, that's what he came back to the reunion with. He said, I came here to see you and thank you for that. I'm like going, and I'm looking at his name. I'm looking at his face, right? And I'm looking at, on your name tag, they got a picture of what you looked like 50 years ago. And I'm like looking, trying not to be obvious. And I'm going, Gil? Who is Gil? Okay. But do you understand that sometimes people we don't even really get, it's still that important to them? Okay. And that's just for a 50-year reunion. What about telling somebody about Jesus? They're working at CVS. I don't want to talk to them about Jesus. Okay, but you can say things like, well, God bless you. And if they say, yeah, bless you back, you go, oh, where do you go to church? Or something. Or you can ask somebody, say, how you doing today? It's been a tough day. Hey, without getting really deep or anything, is there anything I can pray for you about? Yeah. Yeah, my son's really sick. He needs help. I don't have money for the hospital bill. Okay, things like that. Okay, so if Gil remembers me for being nice to him 50 years ago between classes, we need to be telling people about the love of Jesus. That's right. Okay, and that he's there for us, all right? Let me see, there's just one other thing in there. What was I on that? Well, I guess that's the end of it. Don't take advantage of people. You don't get, so I know the last part about rewards. So we have all these shows now that you see, right? Pimp My House, Pimp My Ride, Pimp My this, everything is pimp and fix and all this and that. And do you know that kids, it used to be with my generation that people had midlife crisis at 40. Now they're having it at about 27, okay? Which used to be when you were in your main stride, man. At 27, you were a stud, okay? I mean, that was the best time of your life, basically, all right? And the kids weren't too old yet, so you still had fun, So when you see that, don't think that somebody having a house and all that is the ultimate goal. That old saying, he who dies with the most toys wins, they don't. As a consultant, I consult a lot of multimillionaires going broke that have horrible lives, who don't get along with their wives, whose kids are a mess, okay? And they're all of a sudden at 50, 60, 70 broke, starting over again, okay? It's doing it right. It's not just doing it. You want to do it right. So anyway, that's the kind of thing that when you go into Proverbs, if you open the book, you can make your eyes just go blah, 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 and you finish, and it's like when you read chemistry or trigonometry, right? At the end, you'd go, I have no idea what I just read. And you go, okay, I'll read it again, and this time I'll underline it. And you'd read it and underline it, and you'd go, I still have no idea what I read, which is why I changed my major to business from pre-med. But so, when we read the word, don't just read it deep. Okay, God's in there. This is in there. This is the manufacturer's handbook for your life. It's like the other day something broke and I actually had to break down and get the handbook out and read it. I didn't have any idea that this piece of equipment did about 5 things that were really cool because I never read the manual. I pulled it out of the box, plugged it in, and started using it. Okay, God gives us all kinds of tips on how to live our life, how to be successful, how to get richness out of our life, how to raise our kids, how to live and how to die. Okay? I want to die with Jesus on my lips. Just like today, okay, when the AV didn't work, what does it say? The word says, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. So you can hum and it works. Okay? You don't even have to hum well. Okay? But I want to die humming some praise song. Okay? And wake up with Jesus there. So anyway, I'm going to stop there on Proverbs just to give you a taste of that. And I'd like to, you want to do communion first? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do communion. We're going to hand out the elements here.